The mountain crumbled, the earth shook. To the streets the people took, screaming in vain, fleeing in fear, as fire and ash rained down near. The sky turned black, the sun disappeared. For weeks on end, the darkness leered. A once great kingdom now undone, and all that remained was death and none. Ooh, I believe we're live, just adjusting things here as we swap between scenes, because what fun is that? Look at all the fun it is. Look how much fun it is. Hello, Fays and Fiends. Welcome to another solo tabletop game. If you can't tell from everything about here that you just saw, that you just listened to, first and foremost, what I said there was a blurb directly from the game we're playing tonight, Tales of the Burned Stones. This was a game. This is a game written, layout, and designed by René Pierre Deschies Gelinas? I hope I said that right. And based on the original concept by both René Pierre and Galen. I can say names correctly. Galen Pihale. I hope that's a silent J or an HJ. Well, game made by people, wonderful people, delightful people, as a product of the Fari RPGs, which you can find at Fari RPG. That's FARI-RPG.com. And there's a link dropped in chat for the listing for Tales of the Burned Stones, if you want to ever check that out. If you're live here on Twitch, do command cone stones. Or if you're watching this later on YouTube, all the links and stuff will be down below. So Tale of the Burned Stones is actually free. You're able to find it online, grab it for yourself. That's how I grabbed it. It is a open licensed game, so you can make, what you will, and it is based off of the Breathless system of stuff. I am reading all this in the wonderful PDF that has been given right here in front of me. So lots of fun stuff. It says on the first page that it's solo friendly, but that doesn't mean you have to play solo. You can play this with other people. Oh no, my hood. Keep the hood up. But yes, this is a sort of dark fantasy role-playing game of journeying and dungeon delving. I did read from some of the game inspirations from other tabletop games, one of them being Ironsworn. So those who may have seen my series on that, this might be a bit familiar. Some other games inspirations is 2400, Mausritter, Kjarn, The Black Hack, Death in Space, and Substratum. So, content warning for tonight. Let me read the content warning. This game touches on many sensitive subjects such as death, violence, famine, sickness, corruption, isolation, injustice, and more. If some parts of this game make you or anyone at the table, it's just us, talk about it as a group and set down expectations. I don't mind getting dark, but if you, my dear audience, find that you need to step away, if this live stream or video is just not for you, you can take that opportunity. Step away, pause the video. I appreciate the support regardless, and thank you for stopping by. But this will be a dark tale, for it is part of our spooky time at the time of this live stream. So let us continue on. So there is more to what I read in that beginning little opening there. So if you want to know what the full poem is, get the game yourself and read it. Now, just let's start with the mechanic-y stuff. I did create the character earlier, so we'll get there in a second. But there is some world building I did not get to do yet, so we can do a little bit of that together right here live. So the bit of world building in the game here is under Choose Your Own Adventure. So the world of Tale of Burnt Stones is a living and breathing universe that exists before you decided to explore it. To get an idea of what happened in the world right before the start of its session, discuss the following questions as a group. Well, I guess I'll discuss it with myself. Your answers will help establish what is true in the fiction, highlight who you are, and define some current problems in the world and provide hints as to where the story could go next. All right, so let's see what kind of story we may be building here tonight. So, we are souls lost in the cataclysms that struck. 3 options are a few years ago, our past now fading into the unknown, some months ago, nightmares still haunt us every night, or mere days ago, the pain of death still fresh in our minds and bodies. I'm kind of liking it happening a few months ago. I'm liking some months ago. So the whatever cataclysm, it was some months ago. The Sisters of the Eclipse brought us back, but the promise of life had a cost. Our options are, we cannot die, losing more of ourselves after each reawakening. Our presence brings misfortune the longer we stay in the same place. The price we paid for this cursed life remains shrouded in mystery. I mean, the first one is very much giving me like Dark Souls vibes, and I like Dark Souls. So, kind of digging it. So we cannot die, but we sort of get more and more unhinged with every death. I'm just going to write a note, Dark Souls. Yeah. Selling point right there. All right. Changed forever, we possess abilities beyond the mortal realm. We can sense the presence of demons and touch of their malevolent powers, withstand demonic flames for a brief moment, or banish fiends back to the abyss, provided we have the right materials. Again, I think I'm feeling the first one. This time it's giving me like Dragon Age, Grey Warden vibes. Another selling point. So sense presence of demons. Okay. Next question. Worth choose your own, actually. Feared and revealed by most, we are alone, afflicted by this curse. Only a few spread far and wide across 5 kingdoms. A legion of damned with our purpose yet to be revealed. Oh, we're solo, so let's go with alone. There could be others out there, but I don't know. Right. The ashes bring sickness and disarray upon most, but we can use it to brew an elixir that grants swiftness beyond mortal means. A concoction that imbues us with unbreakable strength, or a potion that expands our perception beyond the veil of reality. I think with the character that I've already sort of set up, I think I want something that kind of helps in one of her weaknesses. So I'll say it's able to create unbreakable strength. A concoction for unbreakable strength. All right. But with each drink, we relinquish a memory of those closest to us, erasing their face from our recollections, of the places we call home, leaving us without a sense of belonging, of a fleeting moment of joy replaced by desolate and hollow void. I kind of like the second one. We lose memory of the places we called home, and I feel that's probably why I feel alone in this world and like there's no others like me, is because even if I could recall a home where we may have gathered or something, I lose all memory of it if I decide to take a drink of that potion. And maybe I need to reconcile with the fact that I've given up that in order to be whatever it is I am. All right. So with those world building questions, that I feel that that Sisters of the Eclipse is important. But with that, going on through, I like to touch on what I'm seeing as I flip through the PDFs here. So there's some fun like world building blurbs on this next spread. Some of the blurbs talk about the different clans and well, not clans, but different backgrounds. So some information for some lore here. Mount Baram groaned and shattered, birthing unfathomable tunnels spinning deep into the unknown. From the abyss, shadows emerged. Countless hordes of monstrous, fire-spitting creatures laid waste to all in their path, reducing to ashes the realm that lay at the foot of the mountain. The remaining kingdoms now stand as mere shadows of their past selves. You are one of the remnants. The Sisters of the Eclipse found your lifeless body and brought you back. Waking up among the debris of the cataclysm, changed and indebted, you have turned to scouring the endless pits for the treasures and stories buried deep within. The commoners plead for your help in finding missing heritage, while guilds offer rewards for locating lost wealth and gold. Even queens require your service and task you with finding rare folktale artifacts like the burned stones of old. Despite everything, you press on. The past is lost, the future uncertain, but your skills remain. So there's some setting for you. We are living amongst these 5 kingdoms, the mountain sort of at the central point of it, having exploded with demons of sorts and brought ruin upon the realms. And now we operate as sort of an entity brought back and under servitude of the Sisters of the Eclipse, and serving those of the realm for all their needs, and hopefully to find these burned stone artifacts. Playing materials. We need dice. And today, if you haven't noticed, I don't have a dice section. Well, that's because I have something fun here. Let me show you. So, what we need is a full polyhedral set. Which is this? Here's our set. So we got our 7 die. And then with copies of the player kit pamphlets, we got it, and pencils and slips of paper. I got some scraps in front of me. There we go. Now to play, you need to roll different types of dice, which obviously, as we've shown, there is different, they do talk about when the D4, the D6. So if you're an avid role player, tabletop role player, you know what all the different Ds are. But for reference for those, maybe this is your first experience. We got our D4, our D6, our D8, our D10, a D12, and a D20. And then to roll a D66, we're being asked to roll 2 six-sided dice and use the numbers independently. So if I rolled 2 6s, for example, let me roll that. 1, 2. Okay, it was a 6 and a 2. 2 first, then 6. So that's 26. That's what I rolled. All right. Then there's a blurb about solo, which we're here. And yeah, some fun things on the side here. So some more world building. The 5 remaining realms and their queens govern, yet the human guilds, the dwarven houses, and the elfic clans yearn for independence. The world is vast, veiled, and dangerous, filled with people from diverse backgrounds and heritages in each guild, house, clan, village, town, and city. At the heart of the world lies the mountainous city of Hammerside, where all cultures converge to trade and share. Times are hard, resources are scarce, and the threat of a full-on demonic invasion looms. Every night, the Hellspawns leave their endless depths to walk the night, spreading corruption and destruction. Every day, more people and creatures succumb to the demonic possessions and become minions of the night. And this little blurb off to the side here is saying, as we progress through the book, we will see more of these blurbs talking about the setting and other such things to give more truth to the world. Now, don't have to take it anything as a singular source of truth. We can add as we feel. So let's go with that. All right. Da 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 da. Some multiplayer stuff, player guidelines. Lots of really good wording here to help folks, whether it's your first time or your seasoned player, to discuss things at the table, like your themes, how you're collaborating, doing check-ins, all the kind of things that are just good, to be open communication. Sometimes you need a little reminder of that. Wow. All right. Let's see if I can get my hood to stay up through this whole thing. All right, now onto the character. As I said, I rolled mine earlier, so let me tell you a little bit about them. Their name is Yor the Whispering. They're an elf of the Spring Shenantel clan. They are a strider. Very light on foot, very agile, and extremely resourceful. And with my rolls, they're the most elfiest elf that has ever elfed out of Tolkien. They are tall and slender in frame, with long, narrowed features. They have their hair dark colored, almost like a deep... At first you think it's black, but it's really just a really deep, dark red-brown. And they have it pulled, slicked back in a high ponytail, which hard to see under a hood. On the wrist is braided leathers of different colors, of browns and grays and a bit of blue, just sort of wrapped as a bracelet around the wrist. And that is Yor's memento. They're very athletic in appearance, so not only are they tall and slender, have fairly defined muscles, and keep rather closely, tight clothes, other than a loose hood to protect against any rain or weather. For the most part, everything else is tighter to the skin so it doesn't catch on anything, makes movement and running easier. Now, their virtue in this is being a creative individual, a creative soul, and their flaw is to be reckless. I mean, sometimes to be creative can cause one to be reckless. And sometimes to get to be reckless, you got to take a creative route. They're not, I would say, looking impoverished in any way. They have well-mended clothing, a well-cleaned, kept appearance for someone who's traveling out and about in the wilds and doing, hunting demons and all of that in this time. Sort of that lower middle class. Now, what they value most, what is their deepest motivation, is freedom. And it's freedom that they can break away from the Sisters of the Eclipse, of this servitude they find themselves in, as they fear that if they keep dying and coming back, Yor will never be able to be themselves anymore. They'll just be something different, and they'll be lost to it and never be able to escape that life. They carry a rapier on their side, and seem to have a good sense of how to move in unfamiliar terrain. Essentially a sort of pathfinder. Let's say that. So we got our world, we got our characters. Now how do we play the game? Well, we got some stuff here in the core rules. We have different rules for different things, of course. So we have our checks, and this is a check allows you to overcome risk or change in your narrative position through means of a dice roll. You only need to roll if you are doing what you are doing. There's the proper words. If what you are doing is risky. So if your ever decides to like run through fire or jump off a ledge and try and reach another, those will be actions that take a risk. And to make a check, assess the risk of your action, pick a skill or an item from your inventory, and roll the die matching its current rating. So we are at the base rating. Our base rating for a weapon, I believe, is 6. And then I have my abilities already set up here. Character sheet. So there's strength, dexterity, and willpower. And each of them has a different die. So my strength is 4, my dexterity is D8, and my willpower is D6. So I'll be picking one of those for this check. After a check, everyone who participates steps down the rating of the skill or item they used by 1. So D12 goes to D10, or D8, etc. Cannot go below a D4. Now, to ever regain that, catching your breath allows you to reset all the skills. There you go. That's how you reset. Now, what is a position? Me wondering? I'm wondering. It says right here. Your position is determined before making a check and may affect how you roll depending on the currently established fiction. So, whether it is has taken an ambush position and was successful, then I have the first position. Or maybe she got ambushed. Now, whatever else is there has position over her. We have a conversationist group. Well, it's just me. I mean you, but me. Doing the action, what kind of opposition they were facing, and talk about the potential risks. So I have quite a bit of this with some other games I've experienced. So I think it'll be good. We can do this. Now, here's the positions we can have. There's excellence. So fiction is on your side. Perform a check by rolling twice and taking the highest result. Good means you are in control of the situation. Perform a check by rolling a die one step up above what you would normally roll. In this case, you step down the die you meant to roll, not the one you actually rolled. Okay, fair. You're neither in control nor in a bad spot. Perform a check as normal. Bad, fiction is making your life harder. Perform the check by rolling twice and taking the lowest result. Dire, you're facing too big of an opposition and you can't proceed with your action. You must first change the fiction through one of many checks before doing what you had planned. So I may have to do a different kind of check action to put myself in a better position. There we go. Now, there are some other elements to the character sheet. There are things like grit, which allows us to perform a feat of pure determination, and we roll a d12 with our grit in place of a skill or an item. And we can only use that once per rest. Our health is resilience, which I rolled a 4. And every hit lowers that resilience by 1. If I ever hit 0, I become vulnerable. And when vulnerable, failing a dangerous action could mean being taken out or even sudden death. Well, in our world truth, we're brought back every time. So I guess that means we may have the potential of taking on more hindrance. And hindrance are a negative detail which may affect your position when making a check. When an action results in a complication, you may have to take a hindrance. To remove a minor hindrance, you need to rest. Major hindrance takes many rests to clear, or you may disappear when they become irrelevant. And we got abilities, which we can do more. We start with one. Items. I only have my sword. Depletable. There's depletable items. There's lasting items. Potential loot. So there's a lot. We got a lot of breakdowns of things here. Now, how do we interact with this world? Well, there are projects. Projects let you undertake long-term endeavors, including crafting lasting items. So if you ever want another item, we can craft it. When you start a new project, make note of your character sheet and assign it a D4 project die. As you work on it in the fiction, increase its die when the progress is made. And then there's challenges, which is part of our checks. Can be used to handle combat encounters when playing solo. When facing a challenge, you can make a number of checks and need a set number of success to overcome it. So if it's a precarious challenge, we need 3 successes. If it's a risky challenge, we need 5. If it's a dangerous challenge, we need 8. If it's a hopeless challenge, it's 13. So, has a lot of rolls and a lot of potential to lose as the higher it gets, which makes sense. There is a fun note here. So there's combat, but when playing solo, you may ignore combat and rules entirely and use challenge as alternative, thus keeping roles player driven. We'll see how I'm feeling. But the combat is an exchange made of rounds and turns. Every participant, player, enemy can perform one action during their turn. And turn order. Okay. And we got discussion of here on the pages, combat action types, attacking an enemy. There's changing location, alter the battlefield, and activate an ability. Okay. So, it's also oracles, which I will be using as a solo player, but it can help you in your group play too if you are playing this as a group. Things for like unlikely, this is where I can see very much Ironsworn inspiration. The unlikely, very unlikely sort of stuff. Answers no and yes, but risks, perilous checks. All right, awesome. So let's start our journey here. So first, before the journey, we got to figure out what our key events are. Before you start a journey, roll a die between a D4 and a D12. And based on how far the final destination, interpret the result. Well, we're gonna keep it pretty simple here. So let us roll. Let's roll a D6. See what happens when we roll a D6. Rolled a 5. So 5 plus, there are 3 events in our journey. Right, refer to the next section to determine how to zoom in for each leg of your travel. All right. So when you start a journey, you have a D12 journey die. If you feel like or your travel is hindered by factors of any kind, you may start with a lower die. For each event, go through the following. So maybe we need some setup here as we need to get into a little bit more role playing. We talked about all the mechanics, skimmed over others. We have a character already built, and we learned a little bit about the lore of this world, of where the Burnstones are. So, I'm imagining you're the Whispering, escaping to the shadows along, skirting the main thoroughfare of the central town village, the main place of sort of the world here of our realms, Hammerside. Sort of taking a moment to sort of assess what has been going on for the months since the reawakening, since the Sisters of the Eclipse have brought them back. The face of this very magical world full of mystery has been undone and unraveled. Magic completely unpredictable and wielding it at a cost. And as such, there are other creatures that were once more attuned to it that still exist here. There's goblins and trolls, fairies, undead, dragons, ghosts, all manners of creatures have existed here long before. But now with the recent cataclysm, even a corrupted fairy can be an incredibly deadly thing. Yor has been practicing a lot in the months under the sisters, understanding rituals and spell work, or at least how to cancel them out, if anything. Getting sort of, that magic hunter, mythical creature hunter vibe here. Well, Yor is walking through the streets and seeing the people mulling about. It's not crowded here, other than the main areas where larger trade is happening. But when you're skirting around more of the outreaches of Hammerfield, the area is very much protected with high walls, guards all along it, all means of ballista and other weaponry set and poised to the outside, where those night spawns, the demons, try and come up and take claim over the walls. So far, no breaches. But who's to say that day will never come? Or may come? If, when... let's not think about that. Yor is more concerned about some other things. So let me see what other things is being concerning to Yor. I keep reaching for my physical dice. We're not using that tonight. So let us roll a d12. A 3. There's an inconvenience that hinders your journey. What is it? So for the start of our first event, Yor has come here in hopes of finding any kind of work that would add or take away from her debt load that she owes to the Sisters of the Eclipse. Or maybe any threads that can lead her to, or them to, any sort of artifact that could alleviate them of whatever spell work the sisters have done to bring her back. It is a very gray, drizzly day in Hammerfield. And as Yor mulls about, she eventually catches the scent of food and ale as she passes a tavern door. Well, if anything, she might be able to get some information, whether it's just listening or talking to the barkeep. Might be something to give her inside. So she goes in and takes a seat and listens. Let me see what we can roll here. She does hear of a place of let me see, we've got a d6, so a d6, a 5, off in the mountain ranges, not of the main mountain where the cataclysm is, but one of the ranges that sort of wrap off from it. There is just blistering blizzards that seem to be happening quite a lot. But up there, there is some rumor of something. There's mixed messages happening in this space. So let's see who seems to be the most potential character here. Let me roll a d4. You have a rather timeless looking person talking there to the main barkeep. They seemingly have rough-hewn clothes, been through lots of repair, very muddied. They almost look like they shouldn't be able to afford the amount of drinks that are emptied in front of them. However, they have a very rugged appearance with it. Very strong jaw, well-toned muscle in their frame, squared. And sort of as Yor is listening, she gets the sense of him speaking of something that he loves dearly, though she missed the initial context of what that is. And he goes on about having done such great efforts to hunt down and save this love of his, really bolstering up an arrogant sort of speech here. But he does, through his bolstering, get into some words of saying, you know, he was going to find the burned stones and he was going to prove to his love that he is true and dedicated and deserving to be wed of them. So let's see how forthright he is as Yor approaches. I was supposed to roll 2, so let me roll 2. 8 total. This man, having been well into his cups, is incredibly chatty. So Yor sort of slowly slips over and starts chatting him up a little bit, asking, you know, like, oh, you were up in the mountains, eh? You said there was like blistering blizzards. Interesting. And you said there was supposed to be a burned stone up there. That is fascinating. Oh, how your love must know just through your actions alone how much you are dedicated. Yor very much keeps this sort of higher trill of voice to kind of placate the man, but he's being very forthright, very chatty about it. So it sort of talks a bit more about where he was where he essentially came down from before the blizzard sort of kept him out from going home. So first, he explains that there was a village. He's from a simple village, and they are very crowded. A lot of people had to sort of pile up in it because of those blistering storms. And you're sort of taking it in, but she doesn't really care how many people there are. She needs some more details here. She needs some more stuff to go on. So she listens and nods. It's like, all right. What was it exactly for this burned stone near your village? And the man, still logging back what drink he has, explains that nearby the village there is a very haunted I like haunted. I do like haunted. There is a haunted isles. Haunted isles in the mountains, in the blizzard. And Yor repeats that a couple times. Haunted isles in the mountains through the blizzard. And eventually the man gets out that there are some weird floating stone islands. Unfortunately, could not figure out how to get to one. But he knows they have to be, one of the burned stones has to be up there. It's got to be, because what other place could be the challenge enough to prove oneself in this realm under such duress and disarray and desolation? So that's a major challenge right there, is trying to get to this apparently haunted island that is floating in the mountains. How did you see it through the blizzard is what Yor is wondering. I mean, the man's only drunk. It's not like he's on any other substance. All right. Well, she hasn't had any luck in several months on locating a burned stone, and she knows the queens of all the realms, especially of her own, being an elf, of her elfic realm, that these relics are very much desired. So, yeah, okay, fine. Yor nods, and I guess that's where she's going to go, because that was the best lead that she has in weeks. Yeah, best lead she has in weeks. So, she sort of rummages to gather up any material she can. She doesn't really have much in terms of coin on her. I may have missed it in the character creation, but she has no money. No money on her. So she just sort of has make sure her weapons are sharp and clean, that at least the basics, you'll say she has your basic sort of rations for the journey, any sort of other kind of things. She has felt that since her resurrection by the Sisters of the Eclipse, with the oddness of it all, that cold and heat isn't as intense, at least not at the start. Especially cold. She feels like she doesn't notice the cold as much as she used to. that she packs up and begins making her way to the mountain range in the north, as where else are the blizzards happening. All right. Now, an inconvenience is what we need for this event in particular, heading to the first leg, which will be getting to the village. One of the hindrances is she cannot get the exact location of this man's village, this drunken man's village. So she now has to figure out which village it is and if the floating isles are, or the haunted isles that are floating in the mountains of the blizzard are real. See, we're not quite on a dungeon expedition. That would be interesting. But we are going on our way here. So we'll say, I want to roll a move. I want to roll something. Ooh. Okay, let's do some narrative positions here. No combat, but things are getting unfamiliar to Yor. She's only sort of been around the area where the sisters had initially revived her, so we're sort of around Hammerfield. She's familiar with the elfic realm that she was initially from, but to expand beyond that is still relatively unknown to her. So I'm going to use, being a Strider, Yor's Pathfinder ability. It takes 0 steps. So no loss or anything. And we may roll with a good position. So when we roll in a good position, I'm going to say this is to gather up information to find the correct village or where those sort of floating isle rumors are coming from. That may pinpoint where she needs to go. So she is embarking out. She's starting with Hammerfield, talking with people in the city here, the central city, because this being a sort of trade way, not just of goods, but of information. So, be in a good position, we have control of the situation, and we may perform a check by rolling a die 1 step above what you would normally roll in this case. So what would it be? Seeing what I can roll here. This seems like a problem solve, so it'd be a willpower. So we're going to willpower to see what we'll do. My willpower is 6, but thanks to my pathfinding, we get to roll at a higher, so we get to roll it at an 8. Awesome, let's go. Please be good. A 5. All right. A 5 plus, you greatly succeed. The higher results, the better. Well, you're laid on a 5 exactly. So we just greatly succeed. No complications. So over time, Yor's able to listen to the whisperings, thus the whisperer, from the shadows, gathering up threads of stories and rumors. And eventually, over time, as she begins her adventure, first, she learns of what road people have come down from, the sort of pathway of people saying, kind of leapfrogging from, the one village or township here to the next. This village was in the realm of the dwarves up north, in their northern sort of edge of their realm, deep in the mountains. Not like inside the mountains, but they're somewhere outside where the rumored isles are. So first, let us see where her first sort of It's going to take some weeks for her to even make it to the mountains themselves, the mountains proper that she's looking for. So let's see, what would her first sort of run in here be as she's leaving sort of Hammerfield? All right. So her first place she comes across is a place called Sei-Kien. Sei-Kien. Say again. So Sei-Kien, that's Cien. That's a village she ends up coming across. And let's see. Well, is it a village? Let's confirm. Let's roll a 2d6. A 9. No, it is a city she comes across first as she works her way following the rumors. So the first sort of major city she comes in, she learns a little bit more about the rumors, pinpointing where she has to go. And eventually she learns that to find the floating isles, she has to go to one of the dwarven houses. And the dwarven house so named is the Bright Hills. The dwarven house is called Bright Hills. All right, well, that is great. So with the name now, she's able to use that name to get even more information on where exactly the Bright Hills are. And again, weeks go by. She's listening. She's asking simple, straightforward questions. And eventually, she crosses the boundary into the Dwarven realm. Now, the Bright Hills, they are in a place. Let's roll locations for that. So they are in a place that is said to be savage and sort of savage dunes. Now that's interesting. There are mountains, but somewhere there's sort of an Arctic desert of dunes, just swaths of icy structures and snowscape creating dunes, looking more like a desert, just a pure white desert than anything else. Somewhere among this inner heart of the mountain. And once you're able to find where their home is within those dunes, well, that's the trick, ain't it? So let me do another pathfinding roll here. Again, we said doesn't cost her anything to be a pathfinder. So let's up that willpower again to a d8. Oh no, I think I can only do it once. I think I can only do abilities once. Reading book about abilities. Something's pinging my head that I can only do once. Or maybe it's only because, okay. Oh, I mean, my Pathfinder ability doesn't cost anything so it doesn't cost me any steps. All right. Let me then try and roll again. I mean, I can still potentially roll bad, but that again brings my willpower to a d8 for a thinking about it sort of roll using my wits. A 2. That's not good. We have some some hydration here while I consider the bad roll. You fail, or you do succeed, but with a major complication. All right. So you're now even deeper into unfamiliar territory. It is a difficult trek, especially as those blizzard winds, just snow striking down. In a matter of minutes, your cloak is like a heavy, dense blanket of white fluff covering, slowing your down, freezing her to the bone. Because even as she feels like she doesn't feel it, it's just numbed her so much. So let's see, what is a detail we can roll here? Complication. I'll say this puts us in a bad position for sure. Let's add something else here because we are doing major things. Major things. I think what a good one is. I may just have to... Oh, let's roll a threat. Why not? Let's roll a threat. So we are now in a bad position, and Yor doesn't realize that there's something lingering out in the dunes as she's trying to locate the Bright Hill Dwarven house. A 5. So something basic with the strength of D6. Oh, I was supposed to roll 2. Never mind. Hang on. That's a lie. Unless we roll a 5 again. Technically not wrong there. All right. So 10. A leader. All right. Let's see what we can get for a leader. So that is a leader's strength. Is a D10. And the resilience. What is their resilience? There. Boop, boop. Oof. 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 They have a D10 strength and a 13 resilience. Oh my goodness. All right. I want to see. There is an enemy chart here. Let's see if there's one that... There is one that matches what I rolled. Okay. Okay. So let me use that as a jumping off point. It's not going to be this exact creature. I'm just using it as a jumping off point. So in the dunes of ice and snow, mountains now sort of surrounding, just like jagged, fanged teeth reaching up into the clouds, piercing the bed of it. Snow just in sheets coming down of white noise. Can't even see 5 feet in front of you. Breath is heavy, and whatever facial covering Yor has, it's just sheer frosted ice across it from her breath, like little points forming even along her eyelashes, their eyebrows, all frosted, and snow encompassing every inch of surface, only being slogged off with every slow step. And what you can't see in the snow is a creature pure white and invisible within the terrain and weather. A tall, slender figure. Seemingly pure white, but has a sort of translucentness to them. Towering. Sort of swaying gently within the movement of the winds. Seeking out the warmth that has entered their space. So being in a bad position here. We roll at a disadvantage, I believe. So Yor hasn't quite realized what is near her. So let's do a check. Let's do a check. Yeah. I'll say this, she'll have one roll to try and perceive the creature that is coming for her, but we are only rolling with the d6 as proper because no Pathfinder here. And we gotta take the lower of 2 die. Which is a 4. So with a 4, I think that passes, but with a minor complication. Yeah. So Yor does catch at the last minute a figure now within that sort of 5-foot perception in the periphery of her vision, just at the edge that she can catch on her cloak hood. She sees a very tall, towering, kind of like a woman appearance. Very long hair that's just sort of floating there. It looks like a ghost almost, but a ghost made of ice and snow. And she can't even tell if the woman is howling at her or if it's the wind that is howling. So let me see what the complication is. I want to go to complications, please. So Yor immediately just tries to shake off all the snow off her cloak as she unsheaths her rapier. And her complication in all this, why can I not find it? It was here before. There it is. So let's see what this complication is. Weren't careful. Should we do mechanical? I will say with that, we're trying to react in quickness as she proceeds with that. So let us roll a d8 and see what that complication is. A 7. Caused an accident. Huh. With the sudden realization of how close this kind of ghostly, icy entity is, Yor licks out a shriek, and she doesn't realize, even though with the howling of the winds and the snow, amongst the mountains and these sort of arctic dunes, that her voice carries out. And nearby a mountain, though she can't see it right now, is the beginnings of an avalanche that is curling and wafting down the mountainside. She maybe has some minutes that if she can realize it, she can run out. But for now, it is coming and it is an unknown thing to her. So now we are... I think we're in a better position. Yor realized what it is she's facing. Has sort of taken... Even though she doesn't know about the avalanche yet, it's not happening this turn or round yet. So I'll say we are in a fair position. So we're neither in control nor in a bad spot. And immediately, because the creature is right up close to her and is about to sort of start basically pulling on her warmth to try and claim heat for itself. I think we're going to do a dexterity roll and see if we can sort of slash at her, just a wide slash to get the entity to back off. Yeah, dodge, parry, aim, balance. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. So my dexterity is an 8. So let's roll our 8 here. Ooh, a 3. A success, but a minor complication. Your swipes out, slashing through the air towards the creature, and it just catches it in the front for... We are D6 on a rapier. For 2 against the resilience, so we're down to 11. And as a minor complication, let us roll to see. This will be a mechanical one, I believe. Let's do that, a 2. So with a 2, we drop our position back down again. So sort of try to go into that more fencing stance. It's become quite apparent in this region between the heavy snow and just the slick ice underneath of the dunes, because there's that layer of fluff from the blizzard, but then there's a layer of ice, of just shifting sandy ice underneath. So even trying to dig in and catch ground, she starts slipping. Her stance going too wide and sort of unevens her stance there. So that puts us down to a bad position. We're gonna try and keep defensive here. So let us roll 2d8 and hope they both roll high. A 3. So we succeed. So again, you're swiping away. Try to keep the entity away from her. She gives a good solid thrust and does a 3. Brings it down to 7 on their resilience. And the creature now really howling above the blizzard storm, reacting with each blow that Yor sends out. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's roll. Let us roll. Let's roll something fiction-based. I feel like fiction-based could be nice. A D6, or not a D6, 6. Lost opportunity. So, whatever chance Yor had of being able to run away from this creature and from the avalanche that is now slowly starting to be heard over the winds, it is long gone as this spectral, icy entity sort of latches on and tries to contain Yor here. I've been rolling attack enemy wrong, but that's okay. Let's do it now. I was supposed to roll, choose a skill or item, roll the die. Oh, I've been doing skill and item. that matches the rating equivalent. So I was rolling 3. Don't forget to step down the rating of the die used. Okay. So my die should be going down. So I was at a 6 on my weapon, so that should be down to a 4, and that's where it is. That's where it stays. And then my dex, I was rolling 8, so that should also be down to a 4 by now. So we're down to force. All right. Yeah, I'll say we as a individual, we're in a bad position here. Our environment is out of our control. We're not able to change it. And a lot of opportunity to get away has sort of been lost to us. So, let me see. I think the enemy is going to inflict its own thing upon us. All right. So this spectral icy thing is going to try and do a drain. It's going to try and do a drain. It went down to 7, so it's going to do the full 3, which drops your to 1. And brings the thing up to 3. Oof. Oof. Alright, fine. It is what it is. Oh, and I'm rolling on bad position too. Or maybe this has become dire. I think this has become dire. We're gonna try and run away. We're gonna try and run away. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Damn. Alright. Combat actions. Attack enemy. Change location. If you want to go somewhere but the distance is too big, you may have to use your turn to get there. Yeah, I'm going to run away. This is my dex is already down to 4. I'm in unfamiliar terrain though and want to get out. So I'm going to use my Pathfinder ability to bring it up to 6. Does my position stay bad if I'm running away? That would be a question. Do we feel I would be in a bad position? Yeah. Yours in a bad position. So let's see. Come on, Yor. Double 5s! Greatly successful. We only landed a 5, so we don't get anything really better than that, because higher is better. But a 5. I say we get a fair. We're just in control of ourselves, not necessarily the situation, and begin running off with that high dexterity there. So immediately it bolts. She let looses of the cloak she had, and it falls to the wayside, getting carried by the wind and left in the snow to be immediately buried as Yor dashes off, heading. She's not even really thinking of the direction. She's just, okay, straight to mountain. Not the mountain that had the avalanche. She can now see just a thicker billowing of snow sliding down the darkened shape of the mountain in the distance. So she's running in another direction of what she hopes is the area where the Bright Hills are. Yeah, so with the higher position now. No, she's only unfair. I'll say we're only unfair, but we're running. We are running. Then we got to get to a safe place and rest soon. So we are now actively trying to change locations. We spent my turn using ability. That was just to get the hell out of there. Let me read the Pathfinder ability further. When looking through a way through unfamiliar terrain, you may immediately roll with a good position. Oh, I should have rolled better. I should have been at. I mean, it was still 2-5, so it doesn't matter. But I gotta keep in mind I can roll a little better. All right. And the creature, actually, its strength would have gone down as well, because it used an ability that brings it down. So now it went from D10 to 7, which doesn't exist. So we'll go 6. I was thinking like number math, not die math. So wait, no. 10, 8, 6, 4. No, it's out of 4. If it drops to 3, it's out of 4. 4 die. Doing the die, not the minus the numbers. All right, I got it. I figured it out. So you're running. Ooh, what can Yor do here? What can Yor do? Oh yeah, I didn't see what my challenge rating on this is. I would say it's a 5. It's a risky challenge. I mean, it feels like it's building up to a more dangerous to hopeless challenge, but it's a risky challenge. We've had 2 hits on the creature, and we're successfully running away. So that's 3 out of 5 so far. All right, so we need 2 more successes. Yeah, at this point, Yor is just going to keep as much distance between her and the creature as possible. Let me just double check. Is the Pathfinder ability just cost of 0? Strider abilities. Looking way through unfamiliar terrain, you immediately roll with a good position. Okay. So we will be back down to D4s, but now we are in good position, so we can look for the higher die. Position. Okay. So let's see if we can keep it up. It is 2 2s. That is a fail or succeed with major complication. All right. Well, if Yor gets hit one more time, she's gonna fall to the snow. So, let's see what we got. Well, let's see. I'm supposed to roll for the creature. Say, even though Yor initially had distance from the sudden run, lost it very, very quickly. So that's her complications, that the snow sort of slowed her down for the creature to catch up to her basically on hand. And let's roll for the creature. Let's see what the creature does. It's down to a D4 because it did its drain ability. A 3, oh no. Let me read the enemy combat here. When they attack them, hold their current strength. Oh, they don't step down their strength die after attack. If they want to use one of their abilities, then they have to pay the ability costs and steps by stepping down the die. Okay. No, I did it right. I did it right. I shouldn't question. I'm confident. I did it right. Okay. But with a 3, it does do what it tends to do, with a minor complication. All right, let me roll to see what the creature's complication is. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Its first hit. The other one was an ability that it used to take back some warmth to heal itself. So let's see what our complication is in the blistering snow. Well, the creature is being quick to catch up, so let's roll on that. So that is D8. Roll. A 6. That doesn't make sense because it says got spotted. Sort of already knew is there. So maybe quick isn't the right one. No, that doesn't make sense either. So fiction-based lost opportunity. So the creature did rush up. But as it does, it sort of is in a position where it can't take advantage of yours back turned as she sort of glances back and swipes wide, almost feeling that entity's drawing on her warmth again. So she swipes wide again with the rapier. So we had gone up to a good position with the initial running away. I think that'd be part of the lost opportunity too. The icy ghost wasn't able to get a better position. So we're still in a good position. However, our dice are low as we are struggling hard. But let's hope for 4. Yay! We got a 4. A 3 and a 4. So success, but there is a minor complication. Well, we are still trying to run away. I said swipe, didn't I? Yeah, so let us roll that swipe with our rapier, which is down to a 4 as well. Oop. A 3. So we bring monster back down to 7 as the rapier kind of slashes through the air. You can see it against the snow, just where that slicing cut happens. And as it strikes through the amorphous cloth of this ghostly entity. Okay. The entity will try and swipe back, blow for blow. Oh wait, I gotta roll for my complication, don't I? Complications. So that was a 3, okay. So I'll keep that 3 in mind. A 1. Ooh, I think we're gonna drop her. We're in a vulnerable position. Again, Jord feels the sudden strength leached out of her as though the very breath of her lungs was completely sucked out. She's very vulnerable right now. She hears the thrumming of her heartbeat in her head, body burning from the numbness of the cold. And she's vision just blurred between the tearing of pain and those tears becoming like ice on her eyelashes. Jeez. Let me roll something here that we haven't done yet, which is just throw a world spark out there. Just let the spark be out there in the world and see how your is sort of picking up in this situation. It's rolling 2 of these, a D66 we rolled. A 4 and a 5. So 45. Attacked. Yes. Feeling very attacked. Oh wait, I was reading. They are feeling attacked. Yes. This table. This is the one I was looking at. That one's hilarious though. This is the one I was looking at. Honor. The theme is honor. And they are. It's still a tactile laugh. 3 and a 4. They feel their honor. Adapted, adapting, adapt. Yeah, we definitely have to adapt to the situation here. It feels as though running away isn't working, but staying to fight isn't good either. And as Yor brings up her arm in another defensive stance, ready to parry off the creature, she just sees sort of peeking out underneath gloved hand and sleeve the braided bracelet memento wrapped tightly around her wrist. She knows someone important to her gave her it, but the memory, the face, whoever the person was, that is gone. She just knows that this was what she was left with of her home. And she takes a breath. Let's do a roll here. Okay. So as she is left vulnerable, you're in a blind thrust, swipes back at the ghostly winter entity and sort of through heavy breaths and continuing to step backwards through the snow, begins fumbling with her free hand, trying to find something. Did she prepare a spark bomb on her? Something that she can throw? Anything to distract this entity? Or create a quick heat elsewhere? Let me see. What are some things we can do? Oh wait, let me check my challenge of successes here. We did 2 more, didn't we? We did 2 more, so we did technically beat the risky challenge. So yes. So as Yor is feeling like she's about to lose herself to this entity, she feels it in her pack on her hip. That flaming concoction. The kind of small vial that when you break it open, it sort of bursts in flame, consuming the liquid as the liquid touches or not touches, but sort of starts a friction process. If it's launched at a fast pace, it creates like sparks and heat in the air. So Yor immediately throws it as she cracks it in her hand, seeing the liquids fly. And as it approaches the creature, as the liquids slip out from the cracks in the vial, it explodes. York shields her eyes and goes back and falling to the snow while she hears the howling shriek of the entity, the flames sort of just wafting and consuming all of it. And you're just thinking, well, you wanted heat, take the heat. And let's see, it's down to 7. Let me roll a d8 just to see how much it takes. Oh, yeah. That took all of its resilience. So as Yor looks back up from the snow, the entity has now just been melted and nothing left floating in the air. No sign of a moving figure through the snow. Yor sighs and sort of just ready to pass out right there in the snow. The remnants of that avalanche now hitting the base of the mountain, sort of creating ripples out in the dune fields. Just that rush of wind now battering the blizzard winds against itself. She didn't get to reach the floating isles yet. Strange thing that she still has to figure out. She didn't get to reach the Blight Hills yet, but they are out there in the dunes somewhere. The winter winds make it very, very hard. And maybe if it wasn't already weird enough, the blizzards are ongoing. Might have been able to wait for warmer weather, but they've been blizzarding for quite some time. And she wants to solve her problems and gain her freedom as quickly as she can. She has no patience. She is reckless. But that will be our story for tonight. Goodness. So I can see definitely some of the feels of the other games in this, the influences of that. Definitely challenging too. If there was more players, probably easier. Solo, you got to get super creative when you hit those really high risky numbers. I'm not sure if I had to completely beat that resilience. I sort of did a roll at the end to see. I'm not sure if I had to completely beat it to finish the challenge, but I went. The challenge rating is there for a reason, so we'd go with that. Probably did beat it. I wasn't counting my successes properly. We may have beaten it sooner. I don't know, but that's why you should keep track of them. Keep a tally somewhere. But we had that was good. That was fun. There is things we didn't get to touch on through this play. So let me do that just for fun here. We kind of finished the first of the 3 excursions that need to happen in the story we rolled. So let's see. Dreams of Glory. Dreams of Glory give you more control over the narrative and allows you to grow stronger. At the start of each session, decide what you would like to see happen to your character or group during the session and take note of your character sheet. If your dream of glory comes to fruition, you get an advancement. Oh, okay. So if I said, like, I want to enter a risky battle, that's what we did, I can get an advancement. Let's do it. Let's just say we did, because I didn't say it, but let's say we did. I want to see what we get. We got a 20. Natural 20. Choose as you wish. Okay. Oh, there's some fun ones here. So let me read some of the table here. You can get a major twist in your story. Your past comes haunting you. Your past comes to help you. You find a new D8 weapon. You step up a weapon. You can step up your skills. Some of these are multiple across numbers. So 5, 6, 7, step up a weapon. 8, 9, 10, step up a skill. 11. 12 is gain resilience. 12 to 14. 15 is getting 2. I'm going to say if I were to play with Yor again in the future, we're going to step up her resilience because she got dropped to 1, and that was terrifying. So with 2, that puts her at 6. So she will be up to 6 if we get to play her again. Which... Oh, we didn't get to do this. I should have been doing this. Oracle questions. The risk oracle allows you to disclaim decision-making on the risk level of task you're about to attempt. Okay, so if you want to figure out if what you're about to do is risky. So we didn't get to use those oracles, but that's okay. And we didn't get to do the dungeon expedition or sell or salvage any items. There's those kind of moves you can do as well to earn coin. Those are just a couple of the things we didn't get to do out of there. We didn't get to roll on any other tables outside the Dwarven houses, so there's other things you can find as you play the game. We didn't get to find an artifact. There's an artifact table. Prices for weapons and meals and other such things, which we didn't get to do either. Did Spark just for fun, so somewhere out there we're adapting honor. There's honor being adapted out there somewhere. Oh. I'm just finding a sort of like little adventure right at the end here from Ashes to Ashes that we could have played too. Well, I made up my own based on rules to show you how you can develop your story as you play, whether you're by yourself or with a group. So there you are. Oh, and there's a nice little sheet at the back here. I was using, there is a Google Sheets you can make a copy of that it was provided, but there is a fun little sheet in the back as well of the PDF. Or if you print it out for a book, or you get the hard copy or the physical copy, it's there. Awesome. Okay, well, that was fun. I liked it. There were some things mentally I had to keep track of. But you know what? Not bad. Oh, I didn't get to roll grit at all. I should have done a grit at some point because you get to do it once per long rest. Per catch your breath. Also didn't give myself a hindrance. Maybe I should have done that for fun. Just a minor hindrance. Like twisted ankle because they slid in the snow and ice. Oh, there's also GM sessions sheets to write down about your players. So that's cool. Yeah. So catching all the little cheat sheet stuff in the back. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little adventure with me. We had a fun start of the story here. If you like what we were going with Yor the Whispering, well, if you're watching here on Twitch, drop a follow or subscribe. Helps me out, lets me know you like it and like my content. Or if you're watching on YouTube, like the video and subscribe. That also tells me you like my content. And that if you want more of Yor the Whispering and you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment saying, hey, give me more Yor. Give me your. But yes, Tales of the Burnstones. Again, here in Twitch, it's right in chat. Find it on Fari RPGs. I'm losing my words now. That's FARI RPGs. Oh my god. I can do this. Another take. Give me another take. FARI RPGs.com. It's in chat here on Twitch, or in the description down below on YouTube. Check it out. It's free. Or you can pay what you want. Drop some money, some cash. I mean, if you like the game, support the game. Do it. It's a good thing to do. We want to support our creators and keep them creating. But otherwise, I think that is the end for our solo game tonight. Hope you enjoy what was presented, our story, all the work I've put in. Let's do another dice roll of the collective of dice here that I've rolled off of DDD dice, or 3D dice, they say you must call it, but DDD dice. They have wonderful means of showing your dice on stream. Oh yeah. A disclaimer here, I'm not being sponsored in any way. I'm just doing this because I like it, and I would like showcasing games. And I've been reached out by some creators for our Spook Fest October time of playing more scary, horror-based tabletop games. And so many I had on my list already. So Tale of the Burnstones was already one I had downloaded and planned, so that was super cool to be reached out by Renee. So yeah, make sure to support everybody that you enjoy and love. That's not all we can do. So my darling face and fiends, remember to hydrate, sleep, and enjoy whatever it is in your time zone, day, night, evening, wherever you are. And hope to see you next time, wherever I am. Bye-bye!